Good morning, people. How you doing? It's me, P-Dawg. And I had a plan today of what I wanted to do for the show. And then I saw this article from Vox. And I haven't read the whole thing yet. I've kind of glimpsed at it, but I gotta do this first. And that's why I even had to change the title of my stream to Full Authoritarian, because apparently Vox says Trump went full authoritarian in his latest Fox News interview. Now, I've been hearing people call Trump a dictator and a full authoritarian, and he's just like Hitler. Oops, I said that word. And I every time I hear it, I just ask myself, how? Is he doing things that full authoritarians do? And is that even possible? Is it even possible in the United States for the president of the United States to go full authoritarian? I mean, I suppose if you had a filibuster-proof, majority in the Senate and the House, and they all agreed with you on everything, maybe. But it just makes me laugh. Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, P-Dawg Knight. All right. Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, me, Marty, also known as P-Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome, and it's the 2nd of September, 2020, and yes, we're in full authoritarian mode today. You shall do whatever I demand, and by the possible use of force, we will have that. We'll make that happen. So anyway, every time I see the words, every time I think to myself, what exactly is it that these people think makes Trump exactly like some of the famed authoritarians in the world, past and present. Because I'm not even sure it's even possible in the way our country's set up to have an authoritarian, to have a king who can just decree anything. I know some presidents have tried it, executive orders, Obama and Bush, Clinton to an extent, but particularly Obama and Bush and Obama love themselves some executive orders, which Trump's executive orders for the most part have been ceremonial, except for the one where he's trying to get the Congress to get their asses in gear and spell out this relief package. But I got to tell you, in a country that is completely filled with people in the streets dissenting against the government and against authority and against police, and the fact that for 3 months now we've been seeing protests all around the country, and I don't believe, at least not to my knowledge, that the president, authoritarian, has had anyone shot in the street or even put in jail. I mean, seriously. Granted, they do have, they are going to be charging people with some federal crimes, as you well know, but holy shitballs, Batman. Who comes up with this shit? Well, I'll show you the article. We're going to read this article, and then I have a whole bunch of other news today. But first, let's do my thing and say good morning to everybody. First in the chat today was Advocatus Diaboli, who got here almost immediately and also gets the bell. Good morning, Gunfox61. I know you got to leave today, but thanks for dropping by, and I'm sure you'll pop a like up there, but he's got to work today. Good morning, Chi-Town Jay. Good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Also, Anna Lynn, what's up? Maddie, what's happening? I think, and Ronan says hi. Ronan's in the background. Is Ronan still in the up near us today? I know he was in the Twin Cities earlier this week. He was delivering some stuff to Richfield, I think. I used to live in Richfield. Anyway. Also, good morning, Tyler F., Balin Bobby, Sean D.W., Mad Max, good morning, Dark Isle, Stabbing Joe Scarborough, keeping them knife shards, looky here, Richo, my friend from down under, also good morning, Katie the Skate, the pissed off Shih Tzu, do not piss off the Shih Tzu, those little things will bite the hell out of your ankles. Also, Renee Mayette, what's up? Let's see, who am I missing here? Cynical Lindsay, hello, good morning. Chicago Mike, yo. And that's everyone, looks like everyone who's, oh, wait, I haven't scrolled down all the way yet, have I? Okay, there we go. So that's everyone in the chat so far. Zombie Teddy, what's happening? People are strolling in. Oh, and we have our first super chat of the day, Gunfox61, who is now the superstar donor of the day. Thank you, sir. You get the very lovely K-pop chick dancing around because you're the superstar. Well, you're the top donor of the day. Good morning. And he says, Dem Pollster says Biden will win a week after the election thanks to mail-in ballots. Yeah, I have that story. I saw that story. That's, it's Operation Red Mirage. But they believe, the story is, this Democratic pollster says that Trump, after the live balloting, after the live polling, will have both a popular vote lead and electoral vote lead, but that because the 40% extra mail-in ballots, that they'll be counting some as late as a week after the election, that's going to turn the election to Biden. It's almost as though it's almost as if they're telegraphing what they're going to do. It's the whole mail-in ballot thing is, I don't want to say it's a fraud. I don't want to have a conspiracy theory, but damn, if you're having all these problems with mail-in ballots in all these places where they're having to redo elections and all this other shit, this is, I don't want to get caught. I don't want to get told that I'm doing conspiracy theory, but damn, come on. So anyway, it's just crazy. Thank you, GunFox61, for the $2. If you want to participate in the Super Chat program, it's the description down below or right here at pdognight.live. Both PayPal options and credit card options are now available there. Thank you very much. Let's see. Oh, also popping in the chat. Good morning, Slapper360. Select a boy. Yeah, boy. Amy in Connecticut, what's happened? I see you there too. So people are strolling in. We got about almost up to 30 people. 6 likes. Hit the like button during the show. If you're not subscribed, subscribe and hit the bell. Please share the stream, either that way, the arrow down there, or if you're on it's mobile, it's up there. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, mine's Gavin Parler, at Dawg Knight. Very active on Twitter. I use the others for notifications. All right, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this Fox out. Now, I didn't watch the entire Laura Ingraham interview. I don't really watch the cable news networks much. I tend to see clips of them on the internet, but I did not watch this particular interview. So I'm not, I don't know what Trump said during the interview, other than the one little clip of it we watched yesterday. Good morning. I just John Smith, say hello to Elizabeth Warren for me. So, I love that joke, and I try to do it as subtly as possible, but it's hard not to laugh when I say that sometimes. If you get the joke, please. In fact, I'm going to give it one of these. Oh, no, I'm not going to give it one of those because it's not working. It always happens after I use... Oh, there we go. There it worked. Also, good morning, check your logic. What Laura Ingraham interview? Donald Trump did I think it was a half-hour interview with Laura Ingraham at the White House. It's online. You'll be able to find it. But I want to talk more about how the media, if you want to call Vox the media, has treated this interview, and this is their headline. Good morning, Disney. What's up? Nice to see you. And Johnny Hellcat. Good morning. So, here's Vox's take. Trump went full authoritarian in his latest Fox News interview. Trump's conspiracy theory about plane full of thugs is exactly... It's exactly what a dictator would say. Now, number one, this Alex Ward, I should follow him on Twitter just to see. First, I gotta ask Alex Ward, why? It's exactly what a dictator would say. A conspiracy. Okay. Good God, man. So here's the article. President Donald Trump has been known to dabble in conspiracy theories, be it that Barack Obama was secretly born in Kenya. Okay, and that global warming is a hoax created by China. Yeah, that's not good. Anyway, or that Bill and or Hillary Clinton had child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein murdered in prison. Now that one... Oh my God. Are they going to take my channel? Good morning, Atheist Icon and Green Badger Outdoors. Green Badger, you haven't been around for a while. Good to see you. Anyway, yeah. Is it safe to say that Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself? Anyway, but his latest, now this is interesting. His latest whopper, that his political opponent, Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden, is secretly being controlled by a roving band of black-clad violent extremists who like to fly in commercial airplanes, is more than just a conspiracy theory. It's also disturbingly reminiscent of a disinformation tactic commonly deployed by dictators around the world to discredit legitimate political opposition. Huh. To discredit legitimate political opposition. Now that's an interesting phrase. See, I kind of think I kind of think that when you're in politics, aren't you always trying to discredit legitimate political opposition? I know he's saying that the Antifa are legitimate political opposition, if you want to call them that. But disturbingly reminiscent of a disinformation tactic commonly deployed by dictators. Wow, I wonder if Alex Ward, the writer of this article, how much study he's done on, dictators. I don't know. It's weird. Good morning, Brutus. Good morning. This is Kyle. Yeah, Trump is as much authoritarian as much as I'm a black man. Well, I don't know if you're a black man. I don't know. Good morning, Kingslayer Damocles. Was it literally all of 2016? Basically that, but Trump Russia. Yeah, holy shit. Anyway, on Monday, Trump told Fox News' Laura Ingraham a wild story he'd heard about a supposed plane full of thugs who had traveled together on a commercial flight to an unnamed American city to stage protests during the Republican National Convention. For fuck's sake, I don't know if they were black clad on the plane, but do you think any of these people drive? Look, okay, let me. So, those, is it Portland or Seattle where they had the supply vans, the food truck, what was it? Riot Ribs, right? Riot Ribs van was in Charlotte, or not Charlotte, was it Kenosha? I don't know. It was somewhere in this side of the country as opposed to that side of the country. Also, the Secret Service intercepted out-of-town people in Kenosha filling their tanks, filling gas cans, and with weapons in vehicles. 3. Okay, so it's not a conspiracy theory. They have evidence of people doing that. Now, whether there's a plane full of thugs who traveled together on a commercial flight to an unnamed American city to stage protest during the Republican National Convention. Oh, and then they continue. These same thugs, in Trump's telling, are currently pulling Biden's strings from the dark shadows. Is that what he said? We're going to listen to the part that they're talking about here. These are people you've never heard of, people that are in the dark shadows, Trump said. There are people that are on the streets. There are people that are controlling the streets. We had somebody get on a plane from a certain city this weekend, and in the plane was almost completely loaded with thugs wearing these dark uniforms, black uniforms with gear and this and that. Now, I don't know if maybe he said that, tell that story wrong. But the president wouldn't offer any more specifics because he said the whole incident is under investigation. Okay. And so if it's under investigation, maybe he shouldn't give more specifics. How much of this did they put on here? Now, they put the whole interview. If you're wondering where the interview is, it is on YouTube. Laura Ingraham interviews Donald Trump, okay? It's unclear if Trump is referring to an actual story he was told by an unnamed somebody who is supposedly on this plane, or if he's just repeating old, unproven rumors that have circulated on social media for months about roving gangs of Antifa activists flying around the country to terrorize suburban cities. Really? Haven't heard those. Is this something that Alex is making up? I'm curious. Weren't the people that Kyle defended himself from? Yeah, I think some of them were. I want to find out where those people were from that Kyle, what's his name, defend himself against. Either way, the story itself is highly suspect. Well, to you at Vox, of course. Though, even more suspect, though, is the idea that these roving gangs are secretly controlling Joe Biden from the shadows. Okay, I don't know that. Is that what he said specifically? I wish they put the whole. I'm not going to listen to this 36 minutes of this interview to find out if that's exactly what he said. That allegation is. But I tell you what. Do you think maybe, just maybe, Biden, in his seemingly diminished capacity, do you think he's in control of everything that he's talking about? I know his Twitter feed is way too coherent for Joe Biden, and it's also very strategic. You can tell that Trump does his own tweets because obviously they're not perfect, and they're just. All of it just comes out the way he does, which I got to tell you, I don't always appreciate it, but sometimes it's so damn funny you just have to laugh. You can tell Biden's tweets are written by a Democratic strategist. Okay, Biden is controlled by polls and by people doing focus groups, and otherwise Biden would have kept denying the violence in some of these cities. But all of a sudden, poof, someone gets killed here and someone gets killed there. And now all of a sudden, and then they find out the polling, as according to Worst Journalist of the Year, Don Lemon, Democratic strategist and Worst Journalist of the Year, telling them that the polls are starting to go in Trump's favor because of all this violence and the people don't like it. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, out of nowhere, Biden goes to Pittsburgh and talks about how I demand that Donald Trump join me in denouncing violence. Get the fuck out of here. It's crazy. Come on now. Good morning, Jay Wolf. What's up? Did you hear a militia group called Oath Keepers is declaring war against BLM and Antifa? You know what? I have not heard that. I know that. Okay, elsewhere. Okay, something else in this interview too. This is funny because here's something else that happened in this interview with Laura Ingraham. Okay, Laura Ingraham asked. Good morning, Kessler. Laura Ingraham asked Donald Trump, "Do you want your supporters going out and confronting these black-clad dickwad Antifa and yada yada yada?" Donald Trump, the authoritarian, said, "No, I'd much rather have law enforcement handle it."
Wow.
As that now, so obviously Donald Trump's not ordering his minions to go out and kill people in the streets, right? I gotta look up that Oath Keepers thing though, because anyway. Now, okay, so now he says, and here's the other thing. While the substance of the claim is patently absurd, I think they're talking about them controlling Joe Biden. But Joe Biden is, again, they're working on focus groups and shit because they're trying to figure out how to win an election. So that's all they care about. While the substance of the claim is patently absurd, Trump's purpose in making such a claim is worth addressing. Now, here's where they're going to, I haven't read this, but I can tell this is where they're going to try to get into the mind of Donald John Trump. Now, before I do that, I got to remind you, I do have my cup of reparations coffee in hand, and it is delicious. And by the way, thank you. Who was it? Purple Pill Perspective sent me the first picture of someone getting their mug, and I want to share that. It wasn't in my plan. Oh, I didn't even tweet the show out. That's dumb. Now I did. In my notifications today, I got the first picture. There we go. Let me put it up there. Oops. Oh wait, I don't want to do that. Let's do it this way. There we go. Gordon McCoyer, a.k.a. Purple Pill Perspective, got his piece for fuck's sake cup today or yesterday. So that's awesome. Thank you so much, Purple Pill Perspective. You get those cups and mask. Look at this description down below because the better cups are from the PAWG.live merch tab. But you can also get masks, but that's on Teespring. Both those links are in the description down below. All right. Let's get back to this stupid-ass Vox article. So here's where they go. They're gonna tell us what Trump's purpose in making such a claim, because that's worth addressing. Here we go. Trump is purposely drawing a straight line between the former vice president and violent extremist where one doesn't exist. Now, that's possibly right, but trying to link the vice president... Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, wait, what? Did they say violent extremist? I thought these were peaceful protesters. What happened? Did Fox just slip and let us know that they are violent extremists? Oh my gosh. They get a bell for that. Way to go. Way to go. What's his name? His name is Alex Ward. Did Alex Ward just admit that they're violent extremists? That's awesome. Good for you. You deserve a pat on the head. So, okay, his goal almost certainly is to stoke fear of a Biden-led America run by lawless radicals, essentially offering the election-friendly message of vote for me to keep you safe and the country from descending into anarchic chaos. Okay, and this tactic of painting legitimate protesters as terrorists and political opponents as secretly enthralled to extremists is nothing new. In fact, it's one frequently used by authoritarian leaders from around the world. Legitimate protesters. Yes, those people setting fires every night in that city on the West Coast, and the people burning down people's businesses because they don't have the correct details of a police shooting. Yeah, they're legitimate protesters. Yes, they are. People who go and murder children in the streets, right, 5 years old in the streets. Yeah, that's legitimate protest. Hitting someone with a brick, walking down the road. That's a legitimate protest. Shooting a girl in a car because the dad turned the wrong way into a parking lot. Yeah, that's a legitimate protest. Nothing to see here. Everything's fine. This is fine. From Turkey's Recep Tayyip Erdogan to Syria's Bashar al-Assad to Hungary's Viktor Orban, strongmen have long used the threat of terrorists at home and abroad, real or imagined, to claim they can alone safeguard their country. Well, what the hell did Joe Biden say the other day? Didn't Joe Biden, when he was saying that I demand Donald Trump join me in denouncing the violence, isn't that a threat? And it's saying that only he could make it stop, and if Donald Trump gets elected, it's going to continue? Wow. That kind of sounds like being a strongman using the threat of terrorists at home and abroad, real or imagined, to claim they alone can safeguard our countries. Huh? Yeah? Is Joe Biden showing his authoritarian stripes by saying that too? Gotta wonder. Good morning, Chadwick Dupree. What's up? He continues, it's an eminently familiar approach and strategy, said John Kerry, an expert on why authoritarian regimes promote conspiracy theories at Dartmouth College. We're seeing a politician who's quick to deploy some of those same rhetorical tools. I'm just gonna keep going. Which unfortunately puts Trump in some pretty nasty company, regardless of how slapdash his entree into that community was. Most strongmen come up with more coherent conspiracy theories, said Representative Tom Malinowski, Democrat, New Jersey. Oh, a Democrat tells us that. Great. Formerly a top State Department official for human rights and democracy. Well, there you go. His credentials are unscathed by any political motivation whatsoever, because he was a top State Department official for human rights and democracy. So that would, oh, but then he says, so that would be an insult to strongmen. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Trump has ordered the military out in the street just to mow down these people so far. There's why authoritarians use conspiracy theories. There's a chapter in the Routledge Handbook of Conspiracy Theories released this year in which political scientists Julian Geary and Dawg Knight outline exactly why dictators like to promote such obvious and dangerous falsehoods. Look, are there people traveling around the country joining in protests in places other than their own cities? Did a bunch of people from Chicago drive up to Kenosha to participate in the fuckery there? Did anyone travel across the country to protest the Republican National Convention or even the Democratic National Convention? There were people in Milwaukee. Even though the Democrats weren't really there were people in Milwaukee protesting shit from other places than where they're from. Jesus Christ. Anyway, conspiracy theories are used as propaganda, allowing regimes to identify and denounce perceived enemies and silence political opponents. Silence! They haven't silenced anybody. They won't shut the fuck up. That's the bigger problem. Anyway, in authoritarian context, conspiratorial rhetoric used by the regimes is expedient for mobilizing masses, reinforcing incumbent structures of power and authority, and assuring the loyalty of the people. Conspiracy theories are used to reaffirm the dominant and established values of an in-group while identifying and subsequently portraying outsiders in a negative light. What the hell was all this Russia stuff about for the last 4 years? Huh? That was one of the greatest conspiracy theories ever. And were the Democrats using it, trying to wield power? I don't know. Anyway, it's discomforting to acknowledge, but that's precisely what Trump was doing in the Ingram interview. Oh, for fuck's sake. By saying there was a plane full of thugs willing to unleash violence and secretly control his political opponent, Trump hoped baselessly tarnishing Biden would rally his supporters behind him. Do you think Trump really needs to rally his supporters behind him? In fact, he has the highest approval rating, in-party approval rating, of any president since Reagan. He has is the enthusiasm gap between the Trump supporters and the Biden supporters is astronomical. I'm not sure what you're saying here, guys. Good morning, Shiagrath. What's up? Kirk Cousins said dumb things. Yes, I know. All the friggin' dumbass athletes are saying some stupid shit. In fact, aren't they going to put what's the Jacob whatever his face, the guy that got shot in Kenosha? They're going to be putting his name on helmets. Now, no, I oh God, do I need to go into that shit? No, I'm not going to. It's insane. Yes, a sexual predator who has been convicted of sexual offenses and yes, let's martyr the convicted felons. Anyway, it's discomforting to acknowledge, but that's precisely what Trump was doing by the Ingram interview by saying the plane was full of thugs willing to unleash violence and secretly control his political opponent. Trump hoped basically tarnishing Biden would rally his supporters behind him, the self-proclaimed law and order candidate. It might also put the Democratic candidate on the defensive, forcing him to respond to the allegations, thereby breathing more life into the conspiracy theory. Let me give you 5 words. Find people on both sides. Look that one up. Anyway, Dartmouth's Carey said dictators use this play when they want to shift focus away from problems they can't solve. For Trump, that would be his inability to stop the coronavirus from raging or protests from continuing. He could stop the protests if he really wanted to. If he were a dictator, you think he'd be able to stop the protests? if he were the authoritarian they say he is, and actually had authoritarian power as someone in a state where a dictator rules, you think he could stop the protest? Clearly, he's the worst authoritarian in the world. And coronavirus, tell me somewhere that problem's been solved. It's not been solved anywhere in the world. In fact, in South American countries, they're raging right now. Even the countries like Chile, who's now in the top 3 of most deaths per million, who completely shut down their country the last 4 months, and they're still having the highest case rate in the world. So who could stop a virus other than, well, and then again, we have our democratic states that killed off more people than most. Anyway, it's a standard approach, usually in response to criticisms, he told me. In a way, it's an acknowledgement of those criticisms by pushing well, things could be worse if my opponent were in charge narrative. Just the same thing Biden said. Holy shit. Can't do it. I can't do it. Anyway, it's an authoritarian designed by Trump, but one that has ample global precedent. Trump is following a horrifying decades-long tradition. In 2016, a coup led by factions within Turkey's military failed to depose Erdogan. Since then, he's blamed nearly everyone from the United States to a longtime political opponent for plotting to depose him. The dictator has found that language useful for consolidating power and cracking down on domestic and foreign dissent is going so far as to say the Pope was part of the evil front for recognizing the Armenian genocide Turkey has long denied perpetrating. Some circles around at home and abroad are at a junction. Erdogan said in 2016, they will either side with us or with the terrorists. There is no middle way. Oh, for fuck's sake. That sounds like, George, both of you are with us or against us? I don't know. Hello, Game of Lean. Hey, Larry. Okay, they're just going to go through and compare to other. Oh, my God. Oh my God. Okay. So no, they're just talking about some of the other people there. That narrative cracks me up. You know, the same people, the exact same people who want to call Trump an authoritarian, the exact same people are asking or saying that he should have shut down the country by decree and made everyone wear masks by decree, and support Joe Biden, who says he is going to shut down the entire country when he's elected, and put in a nationwide mask mandate when elected. In a representative republic, Joe Biden is going to enact a nationwide mask requirement. Obviously, it would have to be by decree. You know the other thing about that? So I've been thinking about this too. So Biden says he's going to do that, right? And Nancy Pelosi and a lot of the Democrats have been really hard on Trump because his response to the coronavirus wasn't what they wanted. He was not a dictator enough, telling us that we had to do this, this, and this, right? He wasn't a dictator. But wait a minute. We do live in a representative republic, right? And so I'm thinking, if we live in a representative republic where the president cannot just decree things, right? He can't just say, I'm the king and I say you do this and you do this. Does anyone recall, now, again, during this entire coronavirus scare, right? During this entire scare. Now, obviously, some governors have been doing their own little dictatorial moves and making their own decrees, mostly without legislative action, which I'm sure it's against those state constitutions too. But hey, the most vociferous voices, does that even make sense? Nancy Pelosi, right, and a lot of the Democratic leadership, particularly in the House, but some in the Senate too, have any of them, during the entire time we've been talking about this disease since January, since the coronavirus task force convened in the last week of January 2020, has a single bill, other than for coronavirus relief, aka throw money at it and start printing money and give it away, has there been a single bill in the United States Congress giving the president the power to enforce mask usage or to enforce shutting down individual businesses throughout the country, a complete shutdown of the country? Anybody seen a bill like that from anyone in Congress or the United States Senate, in the House of Representatives of the United States Senate? Anybody? Anybody? Has anybody seen one? Because they all say, okay, the president should have been doing this. The president didn't act fast enough. The president supposedly got rid of this pandemic task force, which I'm curious, what would they have done differently than we've done already? Wouldn't that same task force have had Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx on it? What's the difference? Huh? What's the difference? Out of curious, what have they, and at what stage? What would be the indicator that action would have been necessary? And what person in Congress has written a bill regarding any of that? I need a cricket sound effect, because there hasn't been one, and the states have been doing this in the way they're supposed to, in a representative republic, a federal representative republic. And the cities have been doing that in what's in our federalism, right? Not a single bill from Congress giving the president that authority, because the president cannot be a dictator in our form of government. There are no such things. The courts will slap down decrees that they are called on that are unconstitutional. That's why our government is formed the way it is, so we don't have dictators. So these people talking about Trump's going to be a dictator, Trump's an authoritarian, Trump's this, that, blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. He's not an authoritarian. There's no way for him to be an authoritarian in our system of government. Checks and balances, baby. Checks and balances. Good point, Gabriel Verleen. If Trump was authoritarian, he would use regulation troops to end riots. Little Rock 9 were escorted by federal military. Trump is respecting local state sovereignty. Yeah, he's offered federal troops in places, and most the Ted Wheelers of the world said no. Kenosha said yes. Seattle said no. Chicago said yes. George Asaro, what's happening, my brother? How you doing? Nice to see you. So, seriously, if they don't take him up on the offer, has he forced them to take federal troops to quash some of this bullshit? Nope. He's offered it. Some said yes, some said no, and so on and so forth. All right, let's try something else here. By the way, the president did visit Kenosha. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. He met with business owners affected by the riots in Kenosha, Wisconsin on Tuesday outside a building burnt out by violent rioters last week in reaction to the police shooting of St. Jacob Blake. The president spoke with about 6 people next to a burned out building that used to be a B&L Office Furniture Inc. in Kenosha, and told them he would help them rebuild their business. Now, I don't know if he's talking about with federal help or not. The store was here 109 years, Trump told reporters. Just about the oldest in the nation. Scott Carpenter, the co-owner of the Office Furniture Store, thanked Trump for visiting. He said, "I appreciate the President Trump coming today. Everyone here does," he said. "We're so thankful that we got the federal troops in to help, because once they got here, things calmed down quite a bit." John Rode, the owner of Rode Camera Shop, carried an image of his business that had been reduced to rubble a week ago during the riots. We're going to work with you. We're going to help you. Okay, Trump said, we'll help you rebuild. It's a great area. It's a great state. This should never happen. A crowd of Trump supporters gathered in the city to greet the president in Kenosha, as well as a group of protesters and Black Lives Matter supporters. Some pictures of them there. Armored personnel carriers were spotted nearby, as well as federal law enforcement agents. The president traveled with Attorney General Bill Barr and Acting Department of Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf. After the visit, Trump gathered with the business owners and members of law enforcement to discuss the importance of safety in the streets of American cities. The president announced that his administration will commit $1 million to support Kenosha police, nearly $4 million to help rebuild small businesses, and $43 million for public safety resources in the state. Trump also welcomed Pastor James and Sharon Ward of the Insight Church to the roundtable discussion. Ward is the pastor for Jacob Blake's mother, Julia Jackson. Jacob Blake's father, Jacob Blake Sr., has said publicly that he does not have a pastor. Ward said that civil societies were governed by three kinds of law: spiritual law, moral law, and civil law. Most of the conversation today has been focused on civil law, but until we can really focus on spiritual and moral law and change the hearts of people, we will have to continue to build bigger jails and bigger prisons until we can bring our nation back to the place of spiritual and moral law. That's fascinating. That's fascinating. That's Jacob Blake's mother, pastor, who said that. Whereas those people protesting Trump across the way behind the yellow tape, they're the ones who want to abolish prisons, abolish the police, abolish jails. Fascinating that her pastor said that. And she didn't seem so anti-Trump when she had her interview the other day. Fascinating. Excuse me, got a little coof here, trying to hope that that's not the corona. All right, let's see. I guess now I got just a mishmash of stories. I mentioned Nancy Pelosi a little earlier. Well, Nancy Pelosi's been busted. You may or may not have heard this already. San Francisco salon owner says Nancy Pelosi broke lockdown order for a blowout. Just disturbing. And he leaked the video too. It's hilarious. Or she. Is it he or she? I don't know. We'll find out. A San Francisco salon owner says House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat California, violated the city's coronavirus lockdown order to get her hair did. Security footage taken from the small business and provided to Fox News appears to confirm the salon owner's allegation, showing the leading House Democrat with wet hair and no mask. No mask? What the hell?
Wow.
Wet hair, no mask, walking through the shop Monday. Hair salons across the city were allowed to open for outdoor services only Monday for the first time since March. And she went inside. It was a slap in the face that she went in. You know, that she feels that she can just go and get her stuff done while no one else can go in. And I can't work. Erica Caius, owner of E-Salon, told Fox News, "We're supposed to look up to this woman." Right. It was just disturbing. There's the footage of Nancy Pelosi. Here it is right here with her. Let's see. Come on. Is that thing playing? Is it going to go? There we go. Ah, yes. There she is with her wet hair. No mask. No freaking mask. I am disappointed in the Speaker of the House. I don't know. But she has reasons, people. She has reasons. Here's a different article. She admits to breaking the lockdown for salon visit, blamed the business, and said she did nothing wrong. Huh. Rules for thee, but not for me. On Tuesday, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi released a statement via her Deputy Chief of Staff confessing, "I confess to breaking city lockdown rules to get her hair did indoors at a San Francisco salon on Monday, seemingly without wearing a mask." Seemingly? He didn't have no damn mask on. Hello, ham and beans. He didn't have no damn mask on. Come on now. Come on, man. Pelosi, however, is not admitting any wrongdoing, instead shifting blame to the salon she visited. The speaker always wears a mask and complies with local COVID requirements, except for that time. This said a statement from Pelosi's Deputy Chief of Staff, Drew Hamill, according to Fox KTVU. This business offered for the speaker to come in on Monday and told her they were allowed by the city to have one customer at a time in the business, Hamill added. The speaker complied with the rules as presented to her by the establishment. Security footage taken from the small business and provided to Fox News appears to confirm the salon owner's allegations, showing the leading House Democrat with wet hair and no mask walking through the shop on Monday, as they reported earlier. Anyway, same shit there. So anyway, a couple other items. There's a whole ton of news that I can't. There's so much I can't even get to. But I want to talk about a little media issue. Apparently, Joy Reid from MSNBC, in an attempt to take a hit on President Trump, kind of mistakenly went somewhere where she may not have gone. And I gotta laugh because the president actually I hope I could find it. The president gave her what's known as a Twitter earful. But here's the story, because Ilhan Omar also got pissed up Joy Reid from MSNBC because click. Minnesota Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar demanded Tuesday that MSNBC host Joy Reid apologize for casual Islamophobia when she compared radicalized Muslims to supporters of President Donald Trump. I wonder what she was really mad about. Anyway, honestly, this kind of casual Islamophobia is hurtful and dangerous. We deserve better, and an apology for the painful moment for so many Muslims around our country should be forthcoming, Omar tweeted. So here's the tweet she did. Well, here's what. here's Joy Reid. Listen to this. Hang on. Oh, come on, computer. Here we go. Listen to what Joy Reid says here.
Let's say in the Muslim world, talk a lot of violent talk and encourage their supporters to be willing to commit violence, including on their own bodies, in order to win against whoever they decide is the enemy. We in the U.S. media describe that as they are radicalizing those people, particularly when they're radicalizing young people. That's how we talk about the way Muslims act. When you see what Donald Trump is doing, is that any different from what we describe as radicalizing people?
Oh my God. And so people got all over her for that. But the best one, and I don't hope, maybe it'll show up, maybe it won't. Oh, and this is funny. Yes. Who said that? Smells like cannibalism. Yeah, they are eating each other. Good morning, Dog. How you doing? They are eating each other alive. So some of the comments on here, for her, Brianna Joy Gray, nearly a quarter of the world's population acts how? Also, let's see. Is this all a thread of this? Tonight we found. Okay, that's not it. Joy Reid just compared radicalized Trump supporters to the way Muslims act. This is Islamophobia. She should apologize immediately. Okay, I don't know what's going on here, but oh my gosh, it's just. And then Donald Trump actually tweeted to Joy Reid. I wish I could find that one, but first, in the same tweet where he calls Chris Cuomo Fredo, because apparently he's having some issues with. He's got some possible Me Too claims against him from back when he was at ABC. He's hiding from that a little bit, and it's just funny. It's amazing. Let's see. Down to some very random articles. Ron DeSantis says we will never lock down again. The governor of Florida. Former Vice President Joe Biden said that he would. Former Vice President Joe Biden said that he would lock down America again if he were to win in the November election, but Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said his state will not shut down again. Speaking with reporters while visiting Central Florida, DeSantis cited his state's steep drop in COVID-19 hospitalizations as justifying his position on lockdowns. The number of COVID-positive patients that are currently hospitalized is down nearly 60%, 60% statewide from our July peak. Oh, who wrote this article? They can't spell. They put peak like peekaboo instead of peak like the peak of the top. Anyway, we will never do any of these lockdowns again. And I hear people say they'll shut down the country, and I honestly cringe. WPTV reported that Florida's new coronavirus cases on Monday dropped below 2,000, the lowest number since June 14th. The governor's declaration comes weeks after the former Vice President Joe Biden said that he would institute a national shutdown if he were elected president in November. Sounds a little authoritarian. He said, if you're sworn in come January and we have coronavirus and the flu combining, which many scientists have said is a real possibility, would you be prepared to shut down this country again? ABC News host David Muir asked Biden. Biden answers, I would be prepared to do whatever it takes to save lives because we cannot get the country moving until we control the virus. That is the fundamental flaw of this administration's thinking to begin with, Biden said. In order to keep the country running and moving and the economy growing, people employed, you have to fix the virus. You have to deal with the virus. It's a virus. You don't fix a virus. But anyway, is she wrong? Is Ilhan Omar wrong? No. Hell no. Hell no, she wasn't wrong. Is that what you're asking? Is she wrong about Joy Reid? No, Joy Reid did exactly that. Exactly what they complain about everyone else doing. So anyway, DeSantis previously said in July that his state would not lock down again, arguing the rise in cases was a result of high social interactions, not businesses and restaurants opening. Speaking at the RNC last week, President Trump had said that Democratic governors would lock down their states until the day after election on November 4th. I guarantee you, on November 4th, they will open up. By the way, did you hear the story about, so they're investigating some of these Democratic states that put a lot of people in nursing homes. And so the Justice Department is demanding information, numbers, right? Well, the state of New York has said that they won't be able to produce the documentation being asked for until November 4th because they've lost all the data. So they say they're not going to produce the data until the day after the election. How convenient. God, bunch of assholes. Apparently a school in Baltimore, they're calling it a Tony Baltimore school, as in ritzy, whatever. Tony Baltimore school buckles to anti-Semitic demands of Black Lives Matter activists. Letter to historically Jewish school denounces parasites, wealth hoarding, and Zionism. Those are some familiar tropes. Interesting. An elite private school in Baltimore founded by Jews is revamping its curriculum in response to a pressure campaign by Black Lives Matter activists demanding an examination of the school's wealth hoarding and tolerance of Zionism. BLM's activist latest academic target is Baltimore Park School, which was founded in 1912 by Jews who were barred to entry into the city's existing private schools. In a letter to the school, an anonymous group identifying itself as the Black at Park Organizing Collective calls for an examination of Park's history, its inception, early exclusions, culture of whiteness, and wealth hoarding, its tolerance of Zionism, and its parasitic relationship with Baltimore County. Jesus fuck? Can you put more anti-Semitic tropes into one letter? You know, it's interesting too. So the founding of this particular school, they just said the reason the school was founded in the first place is because most of the private schools in Baltimore didn't allow Jews in their school. So they created their own school. And apparently the school is extremely successful, extremely popular, and now the haters, a school that was born out of oppression, out of systemic racism, right? when there really was oppression, and now wealth hoarding, tolerance of Zionism, oh my God. Anyway, the collective, which claims to be composed of recent and distant alumni, accused the school of promoting anti-blackness and anti-black violence. Really? It needs. I haven't done one of those in a while. It seeks radical changes to the school's curriculum, admissions, and hiring. The school, they claim, is home to white supremacist structures and environments of learning, teaching, and community making. And Park has established this culture of anti-blackness as normal and permissible. Really? Anti-blackness. What the fuck? Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway, the administration, they wrote, must atone for the deep and painful anti-black violence our black peers have experienced. I'm curious if the black peers that went to that school, I'm curious what they mean by that. The deep and painful anti-black violence? Were there fights at the school? And did all the Jewish kids gang up on the black kids and beat the shit out of them or something? What the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, the language in the letter highlights the prevalence of anti-Semitism and Black Lives Matter activism across the country. Protesters associated with the movement have defaced Jewish institutions, demanded that American Jews denounce Israel, and embrace anti-Semitic Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan, who has condemned American Jews for years. Rabbi Mitchell Wolberg, spiritual leader for the more than 40 years at Baltimore's Ben Tufla Synagogue, expressed concern about the collective's rhetoric. There are a lot of code words here that have been associated with anti-Semitic tropes. Oh, you think? Oh my God. But I don't like calling people anti-Semitic unless I know them and know that to be true. However, with those tropes of parasites and wealth hoarding combined with tolerance for Zionism, you have to question the motives of these people. You think? Holy shit. Anyway, enough of that article. Hello, Ronan. The economy, what? You said something. Check out how bad the economy is. I'll have to look that out. I don't know. Check out where. I'm not sure where. In particular, or is it in general? Let's see. Trump Monday. Oh, Trump basically is talking back to Biden here. So on Monday, Democratic nominee Joe Biden blamed President Trump for the deadly shooting of a Trump supporter, Aaron Danielson, claiming that Trump inspired the climate of anger ultimately responsible for the riots and Danielson's death. Really? Just for being himself, huh? Anyway, Trump responded with a powerful rebuke, noting that Biden did not once mention Antifa, the far-left agitators behind the riots. In fact, the president argued that Biden has given moral aid and comfort to the rioters by repeating the tired line that the deadly and destructive riots were merely peaceful protests. For months, Joe Biden has given moral aid and comfort to the vandals, repeating the monstrous lie that these were peaceful protests. The president declared they are not peaceful protests. That's anarchy. That's You look at the agitators, you look at the looters, you look at the rioters. That's not a peaceful protest. They keep using the term, it's so nice, peaceful protest, and behind that reporter, the sites are burning. He argued, okay, so yes, that's obviously, and they talk about, okay, I'll read the rest of this. He argued, we could solve it very quickly if they asked us to come in, as we did in Minneapolis and as we just did in Wisconsin, where I'll be going tomorrow. This is for Monday. And at least the governor asked me if I could, we would. I said, you've got to get the National Guard. And he finally agreed to even a small number, but they were able to take care of things. And that was about 6 days ago. And ever since, it's been very good. Indeed, after Governor Tony Evers finally asked Trump to send the National Guard following 2 deadly shootings last week, the show of force worked and the violent looting and arson subsided in Kenosha. Mayor Ted Wheeler, Portland, has repeatedly refused Trump's offer to send in the National Guard to bring peace to the streets of Portland. Like Biden, Wheeler blamed Trump for Danielson's death, suggesting that the president's divisive rhetoric is ultimately responsible and ignoring the Antifa affiliation of the reported shooter. Yeah, how the hell can the shooting of a Trump supporter be Trump's fault? And by the same people who've been rioting there for months. Thank you, Gamer Moline, of second super chat of the day, and the 556, who says, in a massive Jewish section of Baltimore and not easily accessible by public transit, plus they are a private school in the county. This community are the same people that shut down a prominent mall when public transit brought crime. So, thank you, Gamer Feline. And that's on the Baltimore school story. Thank you so much for the 556. And you are now the new superstar donor of the day, Gamer Feline. Thank you. Oh, Biden didn't mention Antifa. In Biden's remarks on the shooting, he did not once mention Antifa or the self-entitled identified Marxists who lead the official Black Lives Matter movement. Trump noted that Biden didn't mention the far left, or, from what I saw, I don't believe he even mentioned the word Antifa. Antifa is a criminal organization. He did not mention the Antifa thugs, but mostly seemed to blame the police and law enforcement. Yes, it's always the police's fault when All right, I'm gonna move on. It's about that time. We'll check out other trends. I'll skip these other. Oh, no. We have to go through this story because this is kind of funny. Biden has done it's craven, and I agree. And I mentioned this yesterday, and here's somebody who agrees with me. Joe Biden's craven exercise in blame shifting. This is fantastic. After a thug shot and killed a Trump supporter Saturday night in Portland, Democratic nominee Joe Biden suddenly got religion when it comes to leftist riots in our nation's streets. The former vice president challenged President Donald Trump to condemn violence, as if he hasn't been doing that since the beginning. Then he blamed Trump for encouraging it. Say what? It goes beyond hypocrisy when Biden for months sat in his basement in near total silence as his far-left supporters rioted, looted, burned U.S. cities, and his own party egged them on. The same man chose as vice president, as a vice presidential candidate, Kamala Harris, who warned us all with a smile on her face during a television appearance that the protesting and rioting is not going to stop, not even after the election. Funny what a bit of bad polling will do. For months, the 77-year-old Biden said and did nothing as Democrat-supported Antifa and Black Lives Matter followers violently protested across the country. Said nothing, that is, until polls showed him losing major ground among voters after a hugely successful Republican National Convention, which focused on patriotic themes and roundly condemned the national violence. As Democratic pollster John Zogby put it, Trump is clearly back in the game. Perhaps more surprising was Harris Hill poll showing Trump's approval rating surging 60% among black voters during the GOP convention. That means not to 60%, but it surged by 60%, just to want to clarify. A terrifying prospect for Democrats who have long taken African-American votes for granted. So it's not surprising, after all, that Biden suddenly shows concern for something he couldn't be troubled even to comment on for weeks. I condemn the violence by anyone, whether on the left or the right, and I challenge Donald Trump to do the same, Biden said in a canned statement. We must not become a country at war with ourselves. Biden wondered what Trump thinks will happen as he continues to insist on fanning the flames of hate and division in our society. How? Sway? How? And using the politics of fear to whip up his supporters before accusing him of recklessly encouraging violence. Okay, I still want to find out how Trump was recklessly encouraging violence, because I showed you that video yesterday. That was clearly Democrats recklessly, what did they say? Recklessly encouraging violence. So anyways, Craig Bannister points out, as far back as August 2019, the BBC ran the following headline: U.S. mass shootings, Trump condemns racism and white supremacy. Oh, wow. Sounds like he's encouraging violence. And that wasn't the only time Trump tried to calm people down. In an August 30th post, the last day, Independent's Glenn Reynolds revealed headlines from, of all places, anti-Trump CNN, showing the number of times Trump criticized violence on both sides from 2017 to late May of 2020, just after George Floyd's death. President Trump condemns violence in nationwide protests. That's on CNN May 30th. Trump calls KKK white supremacists repugnant. CNN, August 14th. President Trump condemns racist hate. CNN, August 5th, 2019. Then the coup de grace from Sunday. Trump's Law and Order message strikes a chord. That was an opinion piece. And Biden condemns, and then finally, Biden condemns violence in Portland, calls on Trump to do the same. August 30th, 2020. That's hypocrisy at work for the rest of the Democrats. All this time we've heard nada. Actually, they and their allies in the media denied repeatedly that protests had turned violent. And it's, of course, a tragic joke and gaslighting, as cities around the country, most recently Portland and Kenosha, Wisconsin, have been torn apart and looted by angry left-wing mobs and suffered politically motivated deaths. Anyway, I'm not going to read any more of that because it's just, it's annoying. All right, let's check out what's in the news today. First, I'm going to check, let's see. Ronan actually sent me a message here. Where is it here? I don't see any notifications. Hang on. Okay, somehow I don't have the notification. That's weird. All right, well, anyway, let's check the... oh, no! Okay, Kirk Cousins. Oh, this is interesting. From just down the road here at the Vikings facility, Kirk Cousins on coronavirus. If I die, I die. Ooh, holy smokes, Kirk. We don't want you to die, brother. Anyway, Minnesota Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins isn't worried at all about coronavirus. The NFL is geared up to start in about a week, and there have been a lot of talk about the virus as we enter the season. Cousins is okay with however it shakes out. It's Kirk Cousins in practice there. You know, if I die, I die. If I get it, I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to let nature do its course and just say if it knocks me out, it knocks me out. I'm going to be okay, Cousins explained on the 10 Questions of the Kyle Brandt podcast when he was talking about coronavirus. According to TMZ Sports, is Kirk Cousins a football guy or is he a football guy? That's the kind of mentality I want in my leader running the offense. If he dies right there on the field, then he's okay with that decision. The man knows what he wants, and that's to play football. And apparently he won't give the... Okay, so anyway. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to get some backlash from that. Let's see what the backlash is. Let's go into the... Is it in the news? Let's go to the news tab here. Let's see. Hang on a second. Good God. Yep, here it is. Let's see this. This will be good. Oh, my God. Kirk Cousins says he's taking a survival of the fittest approach to COVID-19. You know, I doubt if he has many comorbidities that would cause him great issue, but we'll guess. In an apparent week-old interview published today on Kyle Brandt's podcast, Kirk Cousins talked about respecting concerns around COVID-19 and his personal thoughts. Okay. I want to see what people... Kirk Cousins said his concern of COVID-19 on a scale of 1 to 10 is 0.0001. If I get it, I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to let nature do its course. Kirk Cousins taking the Ivan Drago approach to COVID-19. If I die, I die. That's funny. That is funny. Is this Mike Freeman, NFL? Mike Freeman is a journalist for Sportico or some shit like that. Is this the Drago theory of life? Also, it amazes me how all this time later, some people still don't get it's not just about them. You can transmit the disease to others. And your chances are pretty small that you're going to do that too. So, I don't know. Lindsey Peterson, says he doesn't like it, doesn't like wearing the mask, but does it anyway out of respect for others. Wait for this, shocker. Nobody likes wearing them. Seems like a reasonable attitude that he's seriously lacking in those that land on the I don't believe this side of things. Okay, some people say I think this is kind of misleading because he did say he wears a mask out of respect for other people. You don't have to agree with why you should wear it, and just make sure you wear it. So yeah, he's okay. I'm sure there's lots of people just pissed off. So he's going to be in the news a lot today. Let's see what else. In fact, I bet you see at least 3 videos from content creators about Kirk Cousins today. Let's go on the news part of the tab. Oh, Sarah Sanders is trending. I don't care. Let's go to the news part, see if there's any breaking news. Kim Jong-il's former bodyguard denied asylum in Canada. Oh, that's not good. If Canada returns me there, I'm a dead man. Ex-bodyguard to North Korea dictator loses asylum bid, faces deportation to South Korea. Canada's Immigration and Refugee Board said he lacked credibility. Interesting. I wonder if it's because they don't think he's really Kim Jong-il's former bodyguard. Let's see. Here's the thread from the Toronto Star. He says, if Canada returns me there, I'm a dead man. A former bodyguard of the late North Korean tyrant Kim Jong-il has been denied asylum in Canada, says he fears he will be killed by the communist regime if deported back to neighboring South Korea. In 2000, he joined an exodus of defectors and made it to Seoul. In 2016, he arrived in Toronto with his family, claiming he had fled threats and persecution in South Korea for his outspoken criticism of its neighbor to the north. But his asylum claim was rejected. Why? Canada's Immigration and Refugee Board said he lacked credibility after trying to distance himself from the cruelty of the regime and playing down his role as a military advisor under Kim's dictatorship. Back in North Korea, he escaped twice, and that was the first time he was captured and sent to a labor camp. In order to survive, to get more food, I volunteered to carry and bury deceased inmates in the mountains. I personally burned over 300 bodies. In a dictatorial system, if you don't follow what the government tells you to do, your whole family and you get punished and destroyed. Now that sounds authoritarian. He says he'd like to appeal the asylum decision. Okay. Canada, someone says here, Canada must have more info than we know. Canadians are accepting gentle people. They must have good reasons. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they're just not so light and fluffy as we thought. Let's see here. What else we got on the news tab? I have a theory. Now, this is a crazy theory. I'll tell you at the end of the show. I'll tell you at the end. Someone at the bottom of the hour, or excuse me, at the half of the hour, remind me to tell you my new theory on Joe Biden. It's crazy as it could possibly be, and I'm thinking kind of treadstone type shit. Okay, but remind me at the 30. Remind me to talk about my theory, please. All right. 27 minutes ago, the German government says Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny was poisoned with a nerve agent. My theory has something to do with this, by the way. Toxicological exams performed on the Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny showed the presence of a chemical nerve agent from the Novichok group, according to the German government. Navalny, a critic of Vladimir Putin, fell ill on August 20th and has been in an induced coma ever since. The substance used to poison Navalny is chemically similar to the nerve agent that was used to target former Russian spies in Salisbury, England in 2018. Not good. Not good. And that came up at an interesting point. Now, I'll tell you in a minute. I'm telling you my theory later. Remind me to tell you about my theory at the half of the hour. Anything new? 3 hours ago, Kim Jong-un, former bodyguard. Okay, we got that already. We already did. They're really pushing this mask thing. They're saying that again. Shinzo Abe's right-hand man, Yoshihide Suga, joins Japan's prime minister race. Shinzo Abe's right-hand man, Yoshihide Suga, is the son of a strawberry farmer. He is currently Japan's longest-serving chief cabinet secretary and is in the race to become the next prime minister. But what are his policies is the question. So if any of you know Japan politics, there you go. That's good. That's news. Pilot report. Oh, here's the jetpack dude. So a pilot reports a guy in a jetpack at LAX. FBI has launched an investigation after an American Airlines pilot said he saw what appeared to be a man flying with a jetpack Sunday night near Los Angeles International Airport. It makes you wonder if it was a UFO or something instead. But anyway, oh my God. Carol Baskin is on Dancing with the Stars. Oh, Lord. Anyway. So, Tower America 1997. We just passed a guy in a jetpack, an American Airlines pilot said as he put a call into the control tower. Holy shit. I wonder if they're going to find that guy. Okay, that might get some newsworthiness to you. Remote work is killing the hidden $1 trillion office economy. Yeah, you know what? Office space. I wonder how much office space is going to be refilled after all this, or if people are going to just start working remotely. Because I know a lot of the offices around here are emptying. It's interesting. Let's see. Canadian news. Sheriff's deputy says Basa Ujiri falsely alleged racial bias. Okay. This comes after a body cam video shows the sheriff's deputy shoving Raptors president Masai Ujiri after the NBA Finals. Raptors falsely alleging racial animus and prejudicial bias, sheriff's deputy says in a counterclaim. Okay, so if you don't know about this, at the NBA Finals, one of the executives for the Toronto Raptors was detained, and they got into kind of a shoving match. That's the story you just kind of got to watch for. Here's the thread. So this comes after body cam video shows sheriff's deputy shoving Masai Ujiri after Toronto's championship win. The Raptors won the championship on June 13th, 2019. In February, sheriff deputy files a lawsuit seeking damage from Masai Ujiri. On August 18th, Ujiri files a 108-page counterclaim, including the body cam video where he was shoved. There's a full timeline in the Toronto Star. In the sheriff deputy's counterclaim, he also says Ujiri is taking advantage of the now pervasive anti-law enforcement prejudices as protests continue in Canada and the U.S. Because I am black, Raptors boss Masai Ujiri speaks from the heart on racism after release of body cam video. Read the full you can read the full statement in the Toronto Sun, and so on and so on. All right, let's check the last one. Jets on the arms. It's a new thing. Wrong here. Let's see what else. Anything else new? New. No, it doesn't look like it. All right. Let me, you don't even have to remind me because I remembered myself. about my theory. Before I do that, though, thank you to... Oh, okay. Here's the... Oh, yeah, you have this here. We talked about it last night. My theory is that it was a dummy powered by a drone. Similar things have been done as pranks and as marketing ploys in the past. Oh, okay, because here in New York City, 3 human-shaped RC planes were flown around New York City to create the illusion of people flying. And then the FBI has launched an investigation after American Airlines pilot said he saw what appeared to be a man flying with a jetpack Sunday night near Los Angeles International Airport. So, yeah, that'd be interesting to see if that's the case, if someone was just flying people-shaped drones. All right. I'm going to start a conspiracy theory. And I don't know if I can get in trouble for this or not. I guess we'll find out. I have a theory about the 2020 presidential election. Because it is clearly, it has to be clear to the Democrats that Joe Biden's ability to get traction as a candidate is shrinking. Okay. He's not really able to get out as much as the president. Obviously, the Democratic National Convention didn't help, or you would have been hearing about it non-stop about the convention bump that Joe Biden got. He didn't get one. And after the Republican National Convention, and after months of rioting, and after at that convention acknowledging the violence that's happening in cities and other things, I mean, not just the violence, the president's poll numbers have been going up. They've been narrowing that lead that Biden supposedly has, just like at every presidential election. That lead gradually narrows all the way up to election day. And because obviously the polling by somebody told Joe Biden that he needs to come out and denounce violence, he did. And so, you know, I think the Democrats are scrambling. Now, here's the wild John Grisham type conspiracy theory that I'm going to throw out there. The Democrats, Joe Biden, I can't even believe I'm going to make this up. I'm making this up, by the way. This is fiction. This is a fiction writing exercise on my part. Okay, it's as if we're doing all this in Minecraft. Joe Biden, his health isn't that good. He's obviously in the early stages. Or I'm not a doctor, but my observation of watching 3 of my relatives go through this, he's in the early stages of dementia. In fact, when he was in Pittsburgh, he got mad at somebody who was heckling him and whatever. I think Joe Biden may not be well. And as I read this article about this opposition leader in Russia being poisoned and going to the hospital in Germany, I got to thinking, if I were writing a book or a story about this presidential election, at some point, as the Democrats are getting desperate and Joe Biden's health is fading. Now, I thought maybe it would be coronavirus that got Joe Biden before the debates and there would be no debates or whatnot, because they don't want Joe Biden to debate. Nancy Pelosi's already said that. Several other Democrats have said that. Here's the plot. Joe Biden also is suddenly hospitalized with some ailment. And just like in the case of this Russian opposition leader, they find some sort of poisoning or nerve agent or something like that. And then they compare Trump, the authoritarian, the fascist, the dictator, somehow causing Joe Biden's health to deteriorate. And they end up removing Joe Biden from the ticket and replacing him. Now, I'm not going to say who they were going to replace him with, but let's just say that Epstein didn't kill himself. And so they're going to come in with a different candidate before the election. And with the same stone they throw to remove Joe Biden from the ticket, that same stone is going to be turned on the president. Because just like the Russians did, just like a dictator would, he's taking out his opposition. I know it's a silly story, but they've got to figure out a way to get Joe Biden not to debate Donald Trump. Okay, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. H.A. Goodman is feeling a twitch right now, I bet. Yeah, if H.A. Goodman paid attention. Although, H.A., if you're not familiar with H.A. Goodman, he's a journalist, author, used to be a Bernie bro, and he's switched his allegiance to Trump after they did Bernie dirty. And he's pretty good. He's been saying all along that they're going to replace Joe Biden with that other potential candidate that I was not speaking of because I don't want to be sad. But anyway, does that sound like a scenario that the Democrats would do? Or somehow Joe Biden's going to get coronavirus, either coronavirus or some nerve agent. And he's going to have to drop out of the race at the last minute. They're going to have to replace him. And, that's how it's going to work. Thank you, Dawg, my friend, with the 556. Trader Joe, for all your brick and trash can needs. Oh, my God. Thank you, Dawg. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm gonna call it a day, and we'll see if this video stays up as a replay. As you know, the Morning Night Live is here from Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 GMT for my friends around the world who do not use American time zones. Please, before you go, do a couple things that would help me out immensely. One, share the video. Down there, the share arrow, or up there if you're on a mobile device, click that share arrow, share this out. If you're watching on a replay, please leave a comment in the comment section so I know you were here. Also, before you go, don't click yet. Don't click before you hit that like button. Okay, hit the like. You got to get that ratio up. That helps me somehow. It gets my videos put out there some way. And finally, if you want to help out in a more financial sort of way, you can do that through the Streamlabs link in the description down below, through SuperChats at pdognight.live, or you can also do donations via Venmo or Cash App if that's your preference. Also, if you're using Streamlabs, you now have the option to use PayPal or just directly with a credit card, which gives less of your money to them and gives more of it to me. It's all about me, just like my the pronouns in my bio say. My pronouns are I, me, and my, because it's all about me. So there you go. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta go. Follow me on Twitter, Minds, Gab, and Parler. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.